I won't lie, I thought after making the video of me coming out, which had a lot of people holding their breath, coming out of the closet, uh, my coming out video as a polygamist or as someone who is polygamist minded, I thought my life would be easier, and it hasn't. I actually feel like I've moved backwards, sadly. The cool thing is it allowed a lot of people to actually reach out to me, men and women, which is pretty dope. A lot of men were telling me, look, they've kind of had the same feelings, real feelings, not wanting to sleep with multiple women. I mean, I think a lot of guys want to do that and do that. But guys who are generally like, look, I've had more than one girlfriend and I've loved them, arguably equally, but like similar weight. And they've also struggled. And, some other people are like, look, well done on coming out, and hopefully this will liberate you and you can live a more honest life. A lot of females are like, look, I think my boyfriend might be like that, or I think I've dated partners who have been like that, and maybe they didn't understand themselves what they were dealing with. The reason I'm struggling is because, you think after saying something like this, I'd like go full steam ahead. Be like, it's my partner, it's my partner, this is my partner. The same way I'm really proud to speak about my 6 children. I have 6 beautiful, amazing children. Kunzmalanga, who's 12 years old. Uzulu, who's 9 years old. Africa, who is 9 years old. Shaga, who is 5 years old. Culture, who is 3 years old. And Unyana, who is 2 years old. From 4 mothers. I won't mention the mothers' names, but from 4 mothers, 6 children from 4 mothers. It's something I'm not ashamed of. It's something I own. Arguably, it's planned in the sense that the children are not mistakes. We could argue that one of my children, not that he came before the time, but he came after the time. Myself and his mom had wanted to have a child. We didn't conceive, and then 2 years later, he arrived at a time when I was not in the right state of mind. I was not in the right financial state. But myself and the mom spoke about it, and she was like, there's no way in hell I'm getting rid of this kid. And I was like, look, whatever you decide, I'll support you 100%. And I love my child so much today. So he was not a mistake. He just came 2 years later than he was supposed to. But I love my kids, man. And I own my children and I own my decisions. And I would love to have more children. When it comes to romantic relationships, I've tried to be honest and open about my struggles in being faithful to one woman. I've also tried to be honest about the fact that I can't do this thing of one night stands, having random girls sleeping around. I generally would meet a woman, fall for her or develop real feelings for her, and then want her to be my partner. And then I'd meet another woman and the same thing would happen, and it would end up that I would have more than one woman, and it's caused me pain in the past. So here I am now saying I'm a polygamist, but I'm not really, in the sense that I'm not married to anyone, and I don't believe in the conventional form of marriage. Currently trying to think about the concept of marriage outside of a legal document, outside of paying money to a family, outside of being in a church in front of a pastor, but saying that this is my commitment partner, therefore this is my wife, and having more than one wife. And now I think one of the things that scares me is the responsibility of being someone's partner. Because now in retrospect, maybe I wasn't really as fully responsible as I could be. Because my understanding of being responsible for a woman is almost treating her like your child. And by child, I mean, I love my children. And I want my children to be the best versions of themselves and to be fully empowered. And I want them to work for me. And I want us to build this amazing family unit. So now if I'm going to have a partner, she must be like a child. That means in one way or another, I'm responsible for her food, her shelter, her clothing, her other needs. If she emotionally needs support, I must be there. I must help her get skills, whether it's going to school, some other skills. If she needs a job, I must help her with that. If she wants to start a business, I must support her. Obviously, if she's making her own money, whether she has a job or a business, I now have to think, what exactly does she need from me? Do I need to see her every single day? What does the sexual part of the relationship entail? What happens when we have children? And where do I now have to fit in? And can I truly handle it? It's a bit scary when you actually think about it. You know, if you actually think about it, because I've said, if men were to be given polygamy, here are 2 wives. Gopi creates and the guy celebrates. And now it's like the wives are like, I need you. You need to be here. Our children need this. This is what's falling short. You're like, yeah, Baba, this is too much stress. You're like, yeah, that's commitment and that's polygamy. It's multiplying baggage and problems. Like if you have a child and your child is sick and needs to go to school and needs school fees and needs to be on medical aid or healthcare and needs you to spend time with them, then you multiply that by 6. And arguably for me, I'm kind of cheating because I'm largely like a satellite dad, which I wasn't for Africa for a long time, which I spent quite a bit of time with Zulu early on, and I'm spending quite a bit of time with Unyanga now. But you look at it now and it's almost like I'm an uncle featuring. And the question is, if I were to have all 6 of my children with me, would I want more children or would I be satisfied? If I were to live with a woman fully and fully be there for what are we eating, what's happening, where are we going, what's the healthcare regimen like, can we discuss money, and what does that look like? So yeah, I feel like I'm moving backwards, but I guess these are still some of the conversations we need to have. And it would be easy if I was an asshole. Just be like, you're my woman, woman. I'm going to be fucking with some silly and walk around like I'm the big dick. But realistically, I think I'm more sensitive than that. And I do care about, especially females. I'm an empath, so the idea of hurting a woman really, really causes me pain as well. So the idea of sharing women and seeing them in pain and knowing that this is not necessarily what they want is not an easy thing to understand or deal with. But I know I cannot generally be with one woman, so I need to try and figure this thing out. And maybe I just need to have more of these conversations with some of you and arguably with the females in my life. Yeah, man. Pen you all the black pen. Cheers.